Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be telling you guys what it actually takes to be successful with e-commerce. And if you're wondering why you should listen to me, I've been running my own brand for around a year now. I've done over 7 figures, and I've been in the space for over 3 years. So I've gone through all of the roadblocks, all the struggles. I've been in the trenches for some time now, so I have a pretty good idea of what I was doing wrong and what I actually did to fix that. So because I've gone through all of the mistakes, I've fucked up a lot. I've been in the trenches for a while. I can tell you right now the things that you need to be focusing on if you actually want to see sustainable growth, and progress with your dropshipping store, e-commerce store, whatever, right? And yeah, I've gone through pretty much every stage with this business, from starting, to failing, to thinking have something figured out, to then actually failing even more again, to now running my store for close to a year now and doing over 7 figures in sales. I can tell you where most people go wrong. So I can say with pretty good confidence that the way you're going about doing things right now and expectations you have that you need to succeed are very wrong, and that's fine. I had the same exact problem. My mindset and what I was focusing on was way different than what people that are doing really well focus on. So don't worry, in this video I'm going to share, what that switch was for me and what I did to actually start seeing some decent results and, actually progressing with my stores instead of just, testing products over and over again, maybe getting a couple sales but not seeing any profit whatsoever. So in this video, I'm just going to be giving you the raw hard truth. It's probably not going to be very entertaining, but if you actually want to grow your store, become a better marketer, I would suggest you watch this because, hopefully this will help you out. So let's dive right in. So before I tell you what you should be doing, let me tell you what most people do and what you shouldn't do in order to save money and time and just a whole lot of nonsense. So what most people do, and what I did for like the first year or two of starting e-com and starting dropshipping, is I would watch a bunch of YouTube videos that were pretty much entertainment, like they didn't really give me any value. I would follow them, I would find products on like PP ads, ads buy tools, whatever. I would copy the website, I would copy the product, I would copy the ads, and then I would run them on Facebook and TikTok. And I'd let them run for like a few days, maybe get some sales, but in most cases get no sales at all. And then if I did get sales, it was either very negative or just right on break even. And then I would be stuck in this weird spot where I didn't know what to do to keep going with the product or just, bin it. And most of the time I would just end up throwing in the towel, bin the product, and move on to the next one. And that would go on for months, just repeating the same thing over and over again. And if you actually think about this, this is a really dumb way to go about things, because what you're doing is you're essentially just playing the lottery, hoping that a product sticks. You're not really adding any value to the market. You're just throwing things at the wall and, like I said, hoping a product pops off. And sure, sometimes you do get lucky, and I myself got lucky a couple times. And sometimes you find that product that, you're able to scale to 30, 40K a month in revenue at like 10% margins. So really you're barely making any money. And then guess what happens in 1 to 2 months? The product starts to die out, and then what most gurus will tell you, and like what most of these guys on YouTube, they'll tell you, oh, well, it's just part of the process. The winning product died out, so now you have to go find another product and do the same thing over and over again. And so what ends up happening is, like, after a few months of doing this, you might do like some revenue, but you're not left with anything. And like, that's why we're doing this, right? We want to make money. We want to be able to travel and do all these nice things. But if you're just, pumping and dumping products, you're really not getting left with anything. And so, like I said, that was me for the longest time. So if that sounds like something you're struggling with right now, like I said, don't worry. This was me for the longest time. And I'm going to tell you what you should be doing instead of, doing this whole like product testing bullshit. So what was the change that actually led me to, scale, to actually grow my business, to actually, build it into a real brand with fast shipping, great customer support, a good trust pilot, which, most of these dropshippers don't have. What was that one change that, switched everything for me? So as simple as it sounds, but what you should really be doing is just focusing on the core skills that will let you become a better marketer and a better businessman or businesswoman overall. And I know it sounds pretty basic, but I'll go over these skills and, how you should be building them. But from what I've seen and the people that I've spoken to, this is the single most defining factor that lets some people, start a new store and scale it right away and seem to become successful, and then some other people test the same exact products and see no results with it. So when I started working on that, when I started working on building my skills, copywriting, product research, competitor research, becoming a better marketer, that's when everything really changed for me. So here are the skills that I would personally focus on if I was just starting out. So the skills that are really going to push the needle forward and push your business in the right direction is: number one, intensive product research and competitor research, copywriting, CRO, crafting ads that actually drive sales, and then also building systems automations. So let's start with the first one, product research and competitor research. So while this may sound like really simple and you may think you're already doing this, but if you're anything like me, you probably are not putting in near enough time as you should be into this step. And this is probably one of the most important steps to actually testing a product efficiently. Because what I did and what most people do is, they'll find a product on an ad spy tool and they'll just decide to test it because it looks cool or there's like one or two competitors selling. And that's a really bad way to go about this, because pretty much all the data is out there, right? All the data, where people are running ads, why people are buying the product, all of it's out there. So if you just spend a couple hours looking at it, really reading into it, gathering intel on the product, it's really going to set up your entire product test in a much better way than if you were just to find one competitor, copy their ads, copy their website, right? So what you need to be doing is, when you do find a product that you want to sell, once it meets your initial sort of filtering and criteria, and you can check out another video I made for what I look for in products, you should be doing a full research on the niche that the product is in. Look for all the competitors selling that product, check Google, check TikTok, check the ad library, get inspiration on what sort of videos are working for them, what sort of concepts are working for them, right? So maybe, is it like a pain angle? So for example, like if the product is in like the gifting niche, research what sort of angles are currently working for the market. Is it, marketing towards mothers, towards fathers, towards couples, right? That's really important, because if you find a trend and you see, okay, this product, the two best competitors that are doing well with it are both marketing towards mothers, that could be a sign that, hey, maybe I try this angle. That's doing well right now, right? You should also be researching why people are buying that specific product. What problem does it solve? Does it solve insecurity? Does it solve boredom? What are the actual unique selling points to buying that product that will make somebody's life better? Why would they spend, money on that product? Go on Amazon, read reviews, go on Reddit forums if needed to really search up like the specific conditions, get in the mind of the customer and try to understand, why would somebody spend money and buy this product, right? That's really important as well for the next steps of actually crafting your ad copy on your website. And that's really going to help you just stand out from everybody else who's maybe writing very basic ad copy. And doing this step and really researching the product and the niche and the customers is really going to help you set up your website and set up your ads in a way that drives sales. And so if you do this step correctly and you actually, do all the pre-qualifying checks, you actually look into the product, one, you may decide that the product actually isn't that good. There's too much saturation. It's not really a product that solves a need. And you may decide to skip that product altogether, which will save you time and money and allow you to move on to a different product that, may be worth it, right? So let's say you find a product, you do the, competitor and niche research, you decide that this product is something I actually want to look into. What do you do next? So this is typically when you would want to start building your Shopify store. And once again, what most people do and what you don't want to be doing is just copying the website that you found the product on, like one for one. This is, in my opinion, the worst thing you could do, because one, honestly, I just don't like the idea of copying somebody's work. It just, seems kind of messed up to me. But if you set that aside, what's also very likely is that person is not the best marketer as well. So what ends up happening is you're copying mediocre work that maybe isn't even doing the best either way. You're copying their, website copy, images, and you're left with just, a mediocre version of the website. So what I always try to do, and what I recommend you guys do, is use that previous research that you did on the product to write your own ad copy. Use the AIDA formula. So it's attention, interest, desire action. You could do a bit more research on it. It's super straightforward. But basically, you want to structure your copy in a way that speaks directly to the customer. You want to have powerful headlines that, instantly catch somebody's attention. You want to have a simple layout. I can make a video on, how I like to structure websites and how I like to organize things. So if you guys want to see that, let me know down below. But yeah, essentially, you don't want to copy the website. You want to, even maybe make your own custom images, write your own custom copy. And the good thing about this too is while you're doing this, you're not just wasting your time. You're actually learning the skills of copywriting, making a high converting website, all these things that you otherwise won't learn if you're just copying other people. And that's what separates people that actually see results and that, don't really get anywhere. Actually learning the skills of, doing it properly. So yeah, what you should be doing instead is taking inspiration from those other websites, seeing and actively thinking what you could be doing better. Can you add better product images in Canva? Can you make better ad copy? Can you add more social proof? Can you make a better layout that will be more engaging and that will convert better? And what I would also recommend is start building a swipe file on, the biggest DTC brands that you look up to, brands like, Dr. Squatch. That's just a super basic example. But ideally you want to start building a swipe file within your niche or within a couple niches. So like, for example, I'll throw up a screenshot here, but I have like a swipe file with a bunch of different niches, like for home, for beauty, for pets, for home goods. That way, when I'm building a website, I can refer to those and I can see, okay, what are these biggest brands doing that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing each month? And how can I, implement those little things into my website without obviously, going too crazy? But those are all things that are going to make a difference. All right. So once you have your website, the next obvious step is making ad creatives. And, once again, following the same theme, what I used to do and what a lot of people I know do is they'll just copy the ads one for one and run them. The problem with this is a lot of these platforms, they know when a video is stolen. They have, pixel recognition. And if the video is exactly the same as somebody already running it, you're going to get higher CPMs. You're going to get a lower quality audience. You're going to get higher cost per clicks. It's just going to perform way worse across the board. So it really doesn't make sense to do that like whatsoever, because the other person is just always going to outcompete you in the auction, in the Facebook or TikTok auction. So this step can be a little tricky since obviously we don't want to order the product or, invest into UGC before we see some proof of concept. But what we can do is we can take existing content that is already out there for a product, and we can use something like CapCut and 11 Labs, which you can basically use to create like an AI voiceover. And it's honestly really easy to make like a high quality video these days. You can use 11 Labs to create a really natural sounding voice, write your own script for it, and then just use the existing clips, chop them up in CapCut, and then add your voiceover, and then add your subtitles. So, and once again, what that is going to do is, one, it's going to give you a lot more content to work with. So for example, if the competitor is only running like 3 ads, you can make 6 or 9, which is the amount I usually like to test with. I like to do 2 to 3 different concepts or angles, and I like to do 3 videos for them each. That way I can instantly see, okay, which angle is doing better. But yeah, I mean, these days, like Facebook and TikTok and all these platforms, they're getting so smart that the media buying doesn't really matter. And the most important skill you could learn is making ad creatives. If you take one thing away from this video, I would say it's this, right? And really invest time into learning what makes a good ad creative. Go on Ad Library, go on like foreplay.io, and really just study the best performing ad creatives in different niches. Study what hooks people use. Study how are the product benefits presented. Really spend your time analyzing these creatives and trying to make your own. And if you get this part right, you can pretty much make any product a winner. And if I had to say which one of these skills really made a big difference for me, it would be this one. Because before, I didn't know how to make creatives. I would always like roll my eyes when I would watch YouTube videos and people would say, oh, you need to make your own creatives. Because I hate video editing. I hate coming up with like creative ideas, but it's something you have to do, and it does get easier with time. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want, once again, if you guys want another video, on how I make creatives, on, my process for editing videos, let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to make that. But yeah, it's really, really important to make your own videos. And yeah, I mean, I guess my last piece of advice would be look at each product test as an opportunity to improve and dial in your skills. You don't just want to be looking at it like just, get these products out, do these mediocre tests. You really ideally should be trying to improve on each thing after each product test. So let's say you test a product, doesn't go too well, you need to think, okay, what went wrong? Was it my product selection? Was it my website maybe wasn't that good? Or was it maybe my video creatives? And a lot of times, to be honest, it usually is the video creatives or the product, just from my experience. Like once you figure out how to make a website that converts, it's really not that, like very rarely will you have an issue with your website. Sometimes it is the offer, but most of the time it's going to be the product. So yeah, I mean, two main things to focus on is finding the right product, really, dialing your competitor research, seeing if this product actually is selling, not just throwing up random products, and then making really high quality ad creatives. And I promise you, if you dial these, main three things in, you will see better results and you will likely be able to scale, and you'll see a difference, because I saw a difference for myself. Yeah, and I mean, I'll show you guys now, focusing on these skills is how I was able to do over 170K in 1 month. And I'll go ahead, I'll refresh this here. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, and this is the brand I've been running for like a year, and I would have never been able to do these results if I was just doing the same thing I was doing. So, I know it's a bit of extra work, but I do really think it will make a difference for you guys. So yeah, like I said, if you guys want any like in-depth videos on making a high converting website, I know I already made one on product research, or a video on like making